right, good morning. Riding into work from the gym. I go to the gym early in the morning. Someone asked me yesterday, do I have a problem with my weight, or do I struggle with my weight? And I struggle with my vanity. Summertime's coming around and I don't want to look like this. My bar for myself anyways is probably out of scale for realistic, but anyways. Today, still thinking about my buddy who killed himself in April. I just found out about it yesterday. I thought I would talk a little bit about, it kind of ties into vanity a little bit. Turns out, I guess, he, from some of the things that some of his friends wrote, he felt very poorly of himself, or he felt himself a monster. He certainly was a monster. I mean, I'm sure he probably had things that he'd like to work on, like we all do, but he was actually a very decent dude. But I think that he oftentimes would tell himself stories about himself through the lens of somebody else's vision for him. In particular, I think he had struggles. He battled a bit with his dad. But there are probably other people too in his life who felt like he had let down. So he continually told himself he was consistently letting people down who wanted to define him in a certain way. So talking about today is the negative self-talk, how dangerous it can be, and how to address it if you find yourself as a person who talks bad about themselves to themselves in your inside voice. Because really all this recording is, all these broadcasts I'm doing, they're really just me talking to myself, and you get to listen into what my inner voice says. I'm just saying it out loud because I do it a lot. I talk to myself a lot, and you just get to hear it. Maybe pick something up about how to talk to yourself. So in my job, in my paying world job, I do what I call a daily inspirational video. Every day I post a new video that I find that has some good information about self-growth or personal growth learning. One that a talk I had found a while ago that I thought was really helpful was talking about emotional intelligence and 3 ways to measure yourself in your own emotional intelligence. One is your baseline optimism, pessimism level. That's the first measurement. Are you generally an optimistic person or generally a pessimistic person? Kind of ask that about yourself, but that's only really one measurement. And this, obviously, no one has the same feeling day to day. Changes with actually diet will affect the way you feel. If you don't believe me, have a few beers and then tell me how you feel. So your diet over time affects the way that your brain chemicals work. Anyways, optimism, pessimism. If you're basically pessimistic, check your diet, maybe change your diet as a starting point. Then there is your swing. How far off of that baseline do you go? There are some people who have a optimistic level and their swing is pretty neutral, and they're a fairly emotionally reliable person. Like, you get what kind of emotion that person's going to have time to time, day to day, not even dependent on information. Just generally, they're a pretty steady person. And then you probably also know people who have a high swing. Like they swing high and low, high and low. And I would say of myself, the younger me was a high swing. Probably an optimistic person, but a high swing. Like, that was something. If you knew me when I was younger, you probably go, oh yeah, Jeff was way high swing. I've chilled quite a bit, I think, in my old age. So that's the second thing. Then the third measurement is your recovery time from negative feedback. If you get negative feedback and you dwell on it for the longest time, well, it's actually negative and positive. If you dwell on your negative feedback for a long period of time, and you almost instantly jettison positive feedback, that's a bad place to be. And then, of course, the opposite is much better. Negative feedback is helpful. You treat it as information, but you don't dwell on it. And positive feedback you can hold on to, and you sit on the win. You take those positive feedback moments as things that you want to kind of hold on to. And I think that for my friend and for so many others, that just understanding those concepts, I think, will be helpful to gauge for yourself, hey, what am I doing right now? Am I holding on to someone's negative feedback longer than I ought to? Am I not recognizing or not giving enough weight to the people who they say positive things about me? And then there's a whole other level to that in my mind that I keep telling people is you should not accept other people's definitions for yourself. People have leveled the charge at me that I'm conceited. I've got that a lot. It's certainly not so much anymore, but in my youth, right? I would say I'm I'm a confident person. Conceit, it can look like conceit to some people, but for other people, including myself, I call it confidence, and I don't think I have a problem with being a confident person if I'm capable. Terms like that. Don't let other people define you. You define yourself. That will help you get to that stable swing, and it will raise your baseline if you're consistently telling yourself, no, they may use that word for me. I can redefine myself a little bit differently. The lens for myself is different from the lens from them, because they don't live your life. They're not in your shoes. They don't know what kind of things you're going through or the experiences that you had, which is, again, I think why I try to be as charitable as I can with people I don't know, or even people I do know who, like in the case of my buddy, like a part of me wants to be mad at him, and then other parts of me want to recognize that the guy wanted to call the shots on his own terms, and this is the way that he wanted to exit. No one was really going to talk him out of it. It's his decision to make, though I don't like that he made that decision, and like it even less that he didn't consult. Not that I could have talked him out of it, but I would have liked a shot. Anyways, the point of this whole video is, don't use other people's definitions for yourself. Define yourself. Recognize your baseline. Recognize your swing. Recognize your recovery from good and bad feedback. Maybe employ those tools to talk to yourself in a more positive way, give yourself more encouragement, and sit on the win more often, because you're going to have wins. You just got to recognize them. Whew. I don't know why anybody's listening to these things. Maybe it's my raspy before coffee voice, or maybe it's because you're just trying to be nice to me. I appreciate that. Anyways, we'll catch you soon. Peace. Be good.